Welcome to the Paritutu Bowling Club here in New Plymouth for round 3 of the Intercentre Regional Bowls Playoff. We've got the final match soon to take place. It is the fours competition. It'll be between Wanganui and will be against Wellington. The Wanganui team will have Bruce Winterburn as their skip, Ray Park as number 3, Shane Broderson will be a number 2 position, Brendan Kenny at lead. Wellington will have Ben King as their skip, Finmar Begwiggan will be at 3, Caleb Hope at 2, and Robbie Bird at 3. And joining me in commentary for this final match this afternoon is Brendan Walton. I'm expecting a pretty good contest between these two teams as well.
Yeah, definitely, Kevin. And we pick up play here as the skips cross over for the first end. We're expecting them to start just perhaps a little bit later than the commentary is ready for. So we pick up coverage as the skips cross over. We haven't quite worked out whose bowls are which yet, but we'll no doubt pick that up as the game goes on. Wellington holding the lead in the overall fixture so far on the men's side. They've had 5 wins, the Taraneki's 3. So sort of the ideal situation for the Taranaki side would be 3 wins and 3 losses for Wellington, but Wellington here just needing 1 win to secure victory today in the Intercentre event.
Yeah, it looks like Ben King, the skip for the Wellington team, he's coming down with his final bowl, I believe, or his first bowl of the first end as the skip of the Wellington 4. He's a New Zealand rep, he's represented New Zealand at bowls. And the Wellington team, all the members of their team are all nationally recognised. Finmar Begwiggan, Caleb Hoop, Robbie Bird. So they've got a pretty good team.
Yeah, definitely. Wellington have put a very strong side forward for today's event. And as you mentioned, Kevin, plenty of depth in the Wellington 4 there. Most of those players having played 3-5 at a national level, or certainly the likes of Robbie Bird, championship national singles winner. So yeah, plenty of experience and depth in that side.
Also with the Wanganui side, Ray Park, who's generally a skip but a good singles player as well. He's playing at 3 in this particular competition, but he's won multiple titles in the Wanganui region, 71 centre titles, and I believe up to 92 club titles. So very experienced player. He's played over 40 years of playing, and he's still out there doing his best for his province.
Yeah, another thing too with Ray is he's not uncommon. He's not unfamiliar with these greens. Ray is a regular attendee of the men's Taranaki Open. And played a lot of national events up here, and you quite often see him coming up for some of those slightly bigger money tournaments as well in the province. So Ray very familiar with the Paritutu club and green. No doubt be a player to watch in that Wanganui side today.
So we're watching now Bruce Winterburn as the skip of the Wanganui team bring down his final bowl on the first end, and the finger goes up, which indicates the Wellington team have won the first end. So the Wellington team will go ahead 1-0. The first end. Can you tell us the conditions of play for the fours, Brendan?
Yeah, so in the fours today, we're playing 15 ends. Of course, as all games today have had a 2-hour and 3/4 time limit. We haven't hit that yet in any games so far. The previous round in the fours was between Wellington and Taranaki, got pretty close. The bell went off as the twos were playing, so they got pretty close to that time limit, but certainly plenty of time to complete 15 ends. And so we won't have to worry about that becoming a factor, I wouldn't expect.
So Robbie Bird is the lead for the Wellington team. They won the first end. He's delivered his first bowl in the second end here.
And he's picked that hand very nicely straight off the bat. We've sort of watched throughout the previous broadcasts today that hand causing difficulties to some players. Robbie on this first occasion finding it straight away.
Brendan Kenny now from the Wanganui team, playing with the, not too sure what colour bowl you could call that.
Coloured bowls, I would say.
Sort of like a mauve colour, but we're trying to pick up the bowls now so we know who's bowling which. 2 bowls for each player in the fours as Robbie Bird delivers the second bowl yet again on the backhand. He's currently holding shot with a very good first delivery.
Yeah, a bit wide on this occasion, but again, he's got a pretty good weight. He'll come around just behind the head. Brendan Kenny now with his second down on the forehand. Brendan, another one of those Wanganui players that quite often seen in and amongst events here in the Taranaki region. Of course, for the winter PBA events, which will no doubt be starting up again shortly, Wanganui, or any player has the choice to play wherever they choose, of course. Wanganui choosing to play for the most part here at a Paritutu in the stadium, as you see behind the green, just a little bit closer than Wellington for them.
Caleb Hope for the Wellington team in the number 2 position has just delivered his first bowl, and he wouldn't be too happy with that, with the white bowl.
Yeah, loose starter there from Caleb. He'll no doubt be looking to make his correction and improve on that.
Shane Broderson coming down with his first delivery with the dark blue bowl.
Pretty good line here, just going to cut away from the jack, but certainly giving himself a good sighter as the game starts out in the early stages.
So Caleb Hope will try and get a better delivery on his second attempt. He's got a better arc coming into the kitty this time. You can tell that because the skip is walking forward and going to give him a bit of encouragement with a bit of a clap there and saying, well done, mate.
Yeah, it's a great improvement on his first bowl. Come just behind the jack, sitting in a really good position, 2 shots. Love that follow through from Shane there, pointing right down his line. Really good finishing position.
So Shane Broderson decided to come on the backhand, and he's delivered a pretty good bowl, competitive bowl right up into the head. It's so important in fours to get as many bowls as you can around the head before the 3s and 4s and get into gear. That'll be the first and second's main task. Get bowls around the head and let the 3 and 4 dictate terms from there.
Yeah, you see Finbar there tossing it out quite wide on what has been the more drawing side thus far, but struggling to find its way back to the green, just a bit too far on this occasion. Good sighter though. Come to a good position.
Ray Park, the most experienced player probably out there on the rink at the moment, he's actually coming down on his backhand for the Wanganui side, just cutting under the line, but notwithstanding that, not a bad position to end up in.
Yeah, just probably looking to try and sit the jack trail, sit the bowl trail with jack sort of thing, just over the weight of the draw. And again, you know, Ray will no doubt know the conditions of the screen fairly well. He'll know the little quirks to it. You see Finbar there getting caught up on his teammate's bowl. Very athletic individual is Ray Park. Quite often seen running around Victoria Lake.
He wouldn't be happy with that bowl there. He probably would have put it in the lake. Certainly cutting across the head, and it wasn't one of his best bowls for a man of his experience, but nevertheless it's early part of this game, and I'm sure his experience will shine out as we get through the other ends.
Yeah, and certainly, you know, Ray's not, as you mentioned earlier on, Ray's generally plays at skip. He's not shy of playing with weight. He's got quite a good drive on him, very accurate too with his drive. You know, for a skinny little old fella, he certainly has a bit of power behind him, and it's certainly something you've got to watch, because when he lets rip, it can really cause chaos into the heads.
So it's Ben King is the skip of the Wellington Fours team. He played a magical bowl in the previous game, didn't he, Brendan, when they had to win the pairs against the Taranaki team we saw earlier?
Yeah, we were just watching the final off camera, obviously, and Taranaki sort of ideally wanting that win in the fours, holding 3 shots as the skips crossed over, and yeah, as you mentioned, Ben just drew an outstanding shot, cut it down, and Craig DeFario, the Taranaki skip, just failing to run it through. Which has given Wellington a great advantage coming into this third and final round. You know, just needing to win one of the 3 games this round to secure or to progress forward to the national final.
So it's been King in a very deliberate delivery style as he plays his forehand. Second end of this men's fours event.
I said Ray was a little fella, but he's done a pretty good job of blocking the rank. Just pulling up short there, I think, Ben.
Ray Park knows exactly what he wants his skip to play, with a bit of weight coming through on the backhand.
Yeah, it's a pretty clear shot in theory. It's fairly obvious to play under that line, but on this occasion Bruce has just pushed his bowl a bit wide. Definitely good speed for the sort of shot he was looking for, and it'll be 2 to Wellington in the second end. Further build their lead, 3-0, having played 2 of the 15 ends. Robbie Bird, National Championship singles winner from a couple of years ago, down in Nainai, delivers the jack. And already I think we're seeing a bit of a different approach to this rink from what we saw in the singles, where the jack was fairly well fixed on the 2 metre mark. The strategy in fours is you want to give yourself a bit more room, so that jack tends to be a little bit shorter. The mat tends to be more commonly placed on the 2 metre mark at the delivery end, and they're trying to look to build heads as opposed to create scoring opportunities earlier on.
Well, they've certainly chosen the smaller end, and they've only been this is the third end of this game, so they've decided to go with a shorter end and test the drawing capabilities of the Wanganui side. So the Wellington team have set that length, and the lead for the Wanganui team, Brendan Kenny, was right up to the mask there and just hitching the jack as he slided on past.
Yeah, had a good result there, a little bit over the weight. The line wasn't too bad, to be fair, but yeah, got a good result taking the jack through with him, and he'll be pretty happy with where he's put that bowl. Good line there from Robbie, just not quite making it up to the head. Gives Brendan Kenny a great opportunity here to add to what he previously has done.
And you'll notice from that shot that Robbie Bird's bowl was, just transferred a bit closer to the kitty. So they have the advantage, as we have Caleb Hope now delivering his second bowl. Beg your pardon, his first bowl of the third end. And it looks a pretty good one to me. It's coming in nicely right into just over the head.
Yeah, great effort there from Caleb Hope.
So Shane Broderson is number 2 for the Wanganui team. He is coming on the backhand for his first delivery in the third end.
Looks to be fairly well pointed as it's breaking into the head. Gets a clap from the skip already. Again,
and he'll be very pleased with that shot.
Similar to Caleb's bowl, just running across.
Now it's up to Caleb to try and match that or better. Study and concentration as he delivers his bowl. Kitty has moved off the centre line, so he's taken a slightly narrower line.
Yeah, just a bit of an overcorrection, I think, perhaps, but that has potential to be a counter.
So it's the turn of Shane Broderson now to put his second delivery towards the jack, and seems to be on a pretty good line here, and wait, if he can just keep the bowl running, he'll end up with a pretty good shot.
You could see that bowl bit really early, but thankfully he had better weight this time, and he's managed to give himself a pretty good shot there, and potentially 2 now to the Wanganui side.
And they need that too for a bit of a confidence booster, don't they, Brendan? They're 3 down on the scoreboard, and getting some points on the board now would be a good confidence booster for them.
Yeah, certainly Wanganui would be coming into this game the underdogs, given that Wellington are in the driver's seat in the competition, and Wanganui will know that they're basically playing to try and knock Wellington off their perch. Wanganui definitely can't get to number one themselves, but certainly a talking point should they step up and beat Wellington in this match.
So it's Ray Park, the experienced Wanganui number 3, who's just delivered his bowl, but he hasn't been able to match the earlier ones that are right around the kitty. But it's early days yet. Finbar McGuigan. He also is going to fall short on this occasion. Just not being able to stretch it out to get close to the kitty. So what can Ray Park do now to try and help his team's cause? They're probably holding 2 shots. Can he add to the count?
Looks to be on a better line. It's definitely a better weight than his first one.
And
that'll be the shot.
His number 3 is very happy with that shot.
So I'd say 3, possibly 4 shots there lay for the Wanganui side. And Ben King now having a chat with Finbar in the middle as to what approach they're going to take to convert this head. I think, to be fair, the shot's fairly similar. It's just that that backhand draw, come under the centre line and onto the jack. There's not a hell of a lot of options on the forehand, really. Trying to play those 2 pale blue bowls of Robbie's up. Too many variables, I think.
He's certainly taken your advice, Brendan. He's going on the backhand, and that was the only really drawable shot he has. It's a pretty good line. It's all dependent on his weight now, if he slide underneath that bowl out front. But
well, I tell you what, he's chipped up that bowl of Robbie's anyway, and has given himself a really good second shot there.
That's correct. He's only 1 down now on the head. So Bruce Winterburn, he is also finding it quite difficult to just reach the kitty on this occasion. Just falling up a little bit short. Opens the door now for Ben King. As you can see, the directions from the number 3, Finbar McGuigan, directing him to bring it through on his forehand.
Yeah, quite rightly so. Change hands. He's got opportunities now. He can push the shot bowl through quite safely. And as Finbar pointed out, they've got some catches out that other side as well. So can play this with good confidence of weight. And worst case scenario, get onto the jack. You're probably only looking at going 1 down anyway. So yeah, just not quite making the right angle on that short Robbie Bird bowl. No harm though. Difficult, I think, for Wanganui to improve this head. Yeah, you see there Ray suggesting just take the 1.
Yeah, they're not going to take too many risks. It's early in the game. Let's take the shot we have and move on. Get some confidence from that end, and then start to apply a bit of pressure when we can now direct the length of the head. So Brendan Kenny now has the mat and making a decision with Ray Park as to what length he will throw the jack.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really critical for Wanganui here. Now that they've got control of the jack, they're going to need to find a length, find a rhythm that a majority of their team can be really comfortable with, putting good shots together and starting to build some heads.
100% correct, and obviously the lead determines the length, but in discussion with their skip and other players, they will have to be comfortable that they can deliver to that length and then go ahead and just execute it.
Yeah, the probably one exception to that rule is probably perhaps the 2. The 2 sort of ideal in a traditional format of 4s would want to be finishing a couple of feet behind the jack, but in really good position. or vice versa, picking up the slack should the lead fail to execute. So, you sort of want to find a length where your front end are quite comfortable drawing to. Your 3 and 4 are supposed to, in theory, be a bit more comfortable playing everything. But of course, at this level, most of these players would be graded as skips in their respective clubs and whatnot. So all of them should be pretty confident playing anywhere, to be fair.
These players are the representative players of their province, and it's only a 7-man team. There's a fours, there's a pairs, and obviously a singles player. So to be in the top 7 of your province in bowls is a huge honour, and you would have most shots covered, I imagine, Brendan.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, sort of, as you go down the order, particularly in the Wellington side, very well-established singles players. All of them are pretty confident on the attack. So there's a lot of depth in that side. These boys could probably just about play in any order they like, as we see Robbie come through and get an unfortunate angle on the jack. He'll remain one down to the back bowl. So at this sort of level, it's very, it's not uncommon to see the team swapped around. Perhaps one player's not leading quite as well, so they'll drop back a position to 2 and put the better draw bowler in lead. There is that diversity and options within the team to sort of swap around and be where you feel most comfortable on the day.
And so Shane Broderson, he's put down a backhand bowl just in behind, probably where his skip was wanting him to. They do hold the shot. The purple bowl is Brendan Kenny as the lead for the Wanganui team, holding shot at the moment.
Yeah, it's a really good bowl there from Shane. He's come behind the head. He's in a pretty good position. Wellington is still playing on that forehand side, so any jack movement you think, would primarily move towards that shot. So a really good result there as we see Caleb draw his first one, and that's a great effort from Caleb, just off that outside bowl of Robbie's and falling into possibly shot there.
Yeah, he certainly came in between those 2 blue bowls and just rolled another couple of feet and or perhaps even 2 or 3 inches to get the shot.
Yeah, now we see the change of hand from the Wanganui side. Quite a sensible decision. Plenty of Wellington bowls there to sit. Jack movement on this hand is certainly in their favour. It's breaking at the right point here. This is going to be a good bowl if it gets the right side of that blue. And yeah, great shot there from Shane Broderson.
Excellent judgment of weight and line and length, and you saw the result there. It came off this inside edge and just trailed back and has given the Wanganui team 2 very good bowls.
And more importantly, it's taken the Wellington bowls thus far out of play. That jack's moved across off the centre line quite a fair way, and those first 3 bowls that were looking pretty good for Wellington are now sort of in a bit of a position where they're not going to do much damage, you would think. Yeah, played that hand really well. Pretty good result on that hand. It's been a tricky hand. It's the more tricky hand to play throughout the day, and he's done pretty well there to go out that little bit wider and still reach the head.
Ray Park has turned this time to, he's getting a clap from his skip already as the ball comes into the head. He's very happy with the end result of this. Yeah,
that's a great finishing spot there for Ray. Probably counting as well.
I believe so. The Wanganui side would probably have three shots currently.
Yeah, Wellington now definitely looking to get something in that area. Don't really want to be attacking it just yet. Whilst there is a really nice shot on for the drive down the centre line, clear out a couple of bowls, get a bit of follow through. Wellington don't really have the sort of position they need to make that shot worthwhile. You see Finbar's bowl there, just getting caught out wide on the boundary, not coming back in from that no man's land.
Ray Park's second bowl was number 3 for the Wanganui team, coming home now, and good position bowl there as well. There's 4 sitting reasonably close to the kiddie, maybe 5.
Yeah, really good end there from Wanganui so far. And this is a big pressure bowl for Finbar now. He's going to be wanting to give his skip a bit of stress relief as they cross over. looks to be coming pretty well. Just going to pull up, I think.
Certainly pulling up, but it could be somewhere, not so much in the count, but reducing the count that was previously there. So that was a good result from Finbar McGuigan. He certainly closed the gap right up.
A useful sighter too, I think, for his skip. You know, it gives him something to sort of look to improve on. Whether he's pushing Finbar up into the head, it is still running on its running surface, so there's opportunity there. Slip just under, sit something on the head. You know, you're probably not looking to get the shot straight away in this situation. Just something nice and close first, and then look to score from there.
So, Bruce Winterburn.
Incredibly narrow line.
It seems very narrow, and it's going to cross the centre line. Not a good bowl for a skip. All he had to do was try to get up in amongst the jack and keep it competitive, but on that occasion he wasn't able to deliver.
Yeah, given the position of his team, I think he'd be pretty disappointed in that one.
Ben King now has the opportunity to wrest that advantage away from the Wanganui team.
And the discussion was pretty clear. They were looking to play with a bit of weight. And he's got on to one of Shane Brodeson's bowls. He's pushed the jack through. Looks like Ray Park's still lying one shot at least.
And on the basis that Ray Park's bowl is the shot bowl, Ray Park is directing his skip to come on the backhand and just try and park up a bowl pretty close to Ray Park's own bowl.
Tell you what, he's put one out in a pretty good area. Breaks down now.
Just a bit too much weight on that, and so it will run by and end up just close to the ditch.
Interesting to see what one can do now. They're sort of still in a position where, should they lose their bowl, they're in big trouble, but they're only one down, so they could play through that bowl and potentially sit two or play for the jack and have a couple at the back, I think. Of course, those two light blue bowls of Robbie Bird out to the side.
They're not too, doesn't appear they're too concerned. They're only the one down, and their number 3, Finbar McGuigan, was just saying, hey, we're just one down, so, you know, kind of just play it safe. Be as close as you can, but don't try to lose any more than one. And if you're lucky, we might even get the shot.
Yeah, exactly, and it's pretty early stages. It's not like they're chasing points, you know, like we've mentioned a couple of times already. Wellington are very much in the driver's seat for this event so far. So they'll be sort of have that in the back of their mind that they don't need to be super aggressive throughout this game.
So the Wanganui will take that point from the fourth end. Remember, this is a 15-end game. We have had 4 ends now completed, and the score, as you can see on the screen, is Wellington 3 and Wanganui 2. I don't think Brendan Kenny's going to be too happy about that bowl. He certainly cut his line. Didn't get the right weight either, and as you can see, it's cut across the centre line, and not a very good first up bowl for a lead.
Yeah, certainly a disappointing start for the Wanganui side. They would have been really looking to capitalise on that opportunity. They've done pretty well the last couple of ends. They've had that one in the area. They've had that good 5 count there briefly. And yeah, to start off with one like that, certainly not what they'd be looking for. It's that bowl of Robbie's makes its way into the ditch.
This bowl appears to have a bit more promise. Certainly a better line.
Looks a little bit like it's going to cut, but it could take the jack with it.
He did take the jack, not too far past.
Yeah,
I don't think he was trying to rake it. He was just trying to come into the kitty, but
no, but in doing so, he has kind of tidied up. He's tidied up his own work a little bit there. brought his first bowl a bit more into play as well, especially if players are going to attempt to play the forehand this way. I say attempt because to take the green you're going to require to get around that purple bowl is going to be right out into no man's land.
Shane Broderson's first bowl coming down.
Yeah, really well pointed here, breaking at the right time.
And he's delivered a very good bowl. His skipper's very happy with that.
Certainly playing key bowls for the Wanganui side right now is Shane.
He's picked the line and the weight accurately in most of his first 3 ends or 4 ends of this competition.
Yeah, great reply there from Caleb too, getting a touch on the jack, staying with it, bringing it through. Not a huge adjustment though for Shane. Something pretty similar to his last will be a good result.
And I think the break point for Shane Broderson's bowl at that time is not where he would have liked it to be, but it's just crossed the centre line. And this allows the opportunity now for Caleb Hope. Beg your pardon, Caleb Hope's already played his bowls.
No, this is Caleb's second now.
Caleb's second coming down. Sorry.
Looks to be in a pretty good line again. Just slip under that blue again. It could be sitting it. No, he's found the gap. So fairly linear play this end. Everybody attempting to play that backhand side. As I mentioned, the forehand probably won't be the kindest should anybody choose to attempt it. Great shot here from Ray if he can turn over Shane's bowl.
He was targeting that bowl, clearly obvious, and if he'd got a touch, a roll inwards, probably would have given them the shot.
Yeah, just unfortunate to slip past and make contact on Caleb's bowl there for the Wellington side. I don't think it's given them second shot, but certainly improved the position for the Wellington side as Finbar comes through into the head on a really good line here. Oh, unfortunate. He's turned in Shane's bowl. It will be one to Wanganui.
Definitely one to Wanganui from that shot you saw just a moment ago. The blue bowl of Shane Broderson's holding shot currently.
This will change Ray's tact a little bit. He'll be just looking to finish behind the head now, not wanting to get too close to it. And he's going to be right behind the head, I think, here in the form of sitting on the bank.
Well, you heard it there, play with a little bit of weight. So Finbar McGuigan is trying to deliver a little bit of a more weighted shot. He's playing on the backhand.
Yeah, great shot there from Finbar.
Great shot. He certainly moved the shot bowl out of the end, out of the head.
Exceptionally good result too, to leave the jack where it was sitting. He had plenty of options there to move that jack and create a pretty sticky situation, but got it out clean, and he's going to give his skip Ben King a really good chance now.
He's kept his own ball on the rink, and it was only a metre or so, you know, past with the weight. Excellent shot. Winterburn now is the skip for the Wanganui team. He's trying to get close to the Wellington shot bowl, as you see, right on the cut. He's right on target now to get a result. All he has to do is a small slide.
That's an outstanding bowl.
Outstanding bowl there. He's got the shot. Just,
don't know,
I believe he has. Maybe it's a measure.
Wellington seems
Wellington
to
seem
indicate they've got it.
That perhaps that's not the case. But a very good bowl nevertheless.
Yeah, I think considering Wellington probably were holding 3 or 4 shots there potentially, it's a really good bowl from Bruce to cut that count down. Looks like he's tight, sort of his facial expression indicated. Didn't quite like it as much, perhaps. Ooh, little edge on that, little outside edge on that white bowl. Turn it up and could have been a very interesting result. So
Ray Park giving the directions to his skip, Bruce Winterbottom. There's now Bruce Winterbottom has taken that advice and decided I'll follow suit. Try
looks
and
to
get
be
a
pretty
touch
close.
on. Yeah, try and get a touch on our bowl and roll it over. Perhaps, but not quite.
Exactly as the shot was played. Just unfortunate not to get that rub on the way through. Good direction there from Ray. And a pretty well executed shot from Bruce. Just unfortunate not to get the result this time. Pretty risky now, I think, for Wellington to try and improve this. Bruce's bowl sitting back there takes out their big count. Best option is just a dead draw, I suppose. Using that outside blue bowler Robbie's as a sighter, it's just jack low. You can see already from that camera angle the sun starting to come around off the coast. You can see the shadow from our media centre starting to appear on the green. As this game progresses, it'll come around further and you'll see the shadow of the stadium take over the green as well. And it won't have a huge impact on how the green plays, but it certainly will affect the players' visibility as sunstrike becomes a bit of an issue the later the day progresses.
Wellington, having won that shot, have now chosen to go with a perhaps 3/4 to short type of length. Just mixing things up a little bit, testing the drawing ability of their opposition players, especially the first 2 that come off the rank. Those are the most important bowls, as Robbie Bird, the lead, puts a very good first bowl down.
Yeah, again, Robbie's certainly got a good feel coming this way up the green on that backhand side.
It's now up to Brendan Kenny to have in his mindset, what you can do, mate, I'll do equally or better, but on this occasion just hasn't been able to get the right line.
Yeah, didn't get that out of the hand very well, I don't think. It was very narrow right from the get-go.
Robbie Bird's second delivery, he's taken a reasonably wide arc and it's coming home nicely. He's got the weight and the direction spot on. 2 good bowls from Robbie Bird.
Yeah, Robbie getting a lot of turn out of that hand. We've not seen players today get that much draw off that hand, so something he's doing there that's working for him clearly, and it's giving him a big advantage coming this way up the green.
Brendan Kenny yet again just not correcting from the first bowl. As you can see, the end result is he followed the same line and weight, and unfortunately not close enough to the kitty to please his skip.
You see the difference there, Caleb, trying to play that backhand side and just not getting it right, and how badly it punishes you when you miss it just ever so slightly.
Nice delivery style from Shane Broderson. He took a lot of time setting up himself for this bowl. Has he got the right weight? It certainly's got the direction. It's coming home nicely. It just needs another little roll. Just out of the count, but very good bowl.
Yeah, it's a really good bowl from Shane. Just unfortunate on this occasion not to have the weight, but as you mentioned, Kevin, that delivery of his is very deliberate, very, very precise, and what it allows him to do, and you see it. You see it in Finbar and Caleb, and especially these younger players as well. They have a really nice straight follow through. They're pointing down their line. Every bowl is played with intent and purpose. You know, when you start getting a bit lazy with your follow through, the result of the bowls is very inconsistent.
Very good points made there, Brendan. You're so correct. It's so important to get that extension of your arm and the follow through and have a smooth delivery and consistent delivery every time you bowl.
And again, we see Shane on a really good track. If he just slips around his own, he's got a good chance of sitting out the shot bowl here. Bowl of Finbars just looks to be a little bit short. It's going to cut under the head.
Winterburn giving directions to Ray Park to come on the forehand on an unders line perhaps and see if he can get a result. He's coming towards the kitty well.
I'll tell you what, he cut away a little bit at the end, but that was a really good effort there from
Yes,
Ray.
it
That's a
was.
tricky shot to try and play, and quite an interesting call, I thought, given the position on the head, but he's done a pretty good job of getting that result. Finbar don't like that one at all.
No, he certainly doesn't, and he walked away from the bowl and is not quite prepared to even see where it lands up. So Ray Parker is now trying a second attempt at the shot that he skip wants him to do.
Bit too wide this time, I think, for the shot he's trying to play.
He's coming around the kitty, sorry, around the wing bowls rather than under.
He's given himself the backest bowl, but Wellington there holding one, I think, in the blue bowl of Robbie Bird.
A light blue bowl.
Shane there with the two darker blue, probably the next two shots from the Wanganui side.
Ben King is studying concentration as he lines up a backhand bowl. Nice delivery action. As it comes down, break point. It's on the turn now. But yet again, his bowl is going to slide across. That just getting that little bit of extension, to allow it to come through and under the blue bowl. Just not happening at times.
Yeah, quite tricky, I think, to find the break point on that end. You sort of watch Robbie. He's not throwing it out much wider than that, but he's getting the bowl to turn just that little bit later. And what that is allowing him to do is just be a bit more comfortable into the head. The bowls that turn a bit earlier, they really cut away, and they're not really a scoring opportunity as we see Shane turn in another Wellington bowl, potentially another counter perhaps.
He's put a bit more weight on this bowl. We'll see where this one ends up. But
Yeah, see,
as soon as it starts to hang out wide, Brendan, she's not coming home.
And that's the discussion that we're talking about. You know, your natural correction is to put more weight and more green, but the correction isn't so much one of line. It's not the green you take; it's how you get there. You know, so the correction isn't about moving your marker on the bank. It's quite often moving your position on the mat. You know, moving your feet from the left to the right, or vice versa. Even just, you know, the angle you bring your arm through on the swing. That little subtle difference can really make a change as to where your bowl starts to turn. Shane there just looking to promote something, but Don't think he's going to get the result this time. So, not sure if that was 1 or 2 there, but definitely in favour of the Wellington side.
And
2.
There's 2 points have been added to the Wellington score, as you can see from the scorecard on the bank. 6 points to 2 in favour of the Wellington team after 6 ends. This is a 15-end game. 2 3/4 hours maximum time limit. There's Robbie Bird, very deliberate in his backswing and having a small pause and delivering his forward delivery to get the extension needed to get this bowl right up on the kitty.
Yeah, he didn't like that, but to be fair, it's not a bad bowl. He's only probably about 1.5 feet away. Okay, he's slightly under the line, but still very much in the area of the head, I would think.
This is the 3rd game these players have played today, and tiredness does creep in, doesn't it, Brendan? I mean, it's been it's a long, arduous day where they've got to play 3 games of 2 3/4 hours each. So, tiredness could be creeping into 1 or 2 players.
Yeah, it's not an overly warm day, but it's still that kind of weather that it does tire you out. Even just sitting up here in the commentary booth, you're starting to notice the odd yawn starting to try to slip through. The day's been quite long, and especially for these players, I don't think the Wanganui players stayed overnight. I'm pretty sure they travelled from Wanganui this morning, so that's another 2 hours on before they started here at 8:30. So, early morning plus travel plus 3 full games of bowls. It's a long day for these players.
Brendan Kenny throwing down his 2nd bowl.
Looks to be on a much better line.
He's just not going to have the weight, though, to tip over the shot ball, I believe. So it will just tuck in behind.
Yeah,
but somewhere around the kitty is a good bowl. Caleb Hope into his delivery, and it's on the turn now. If it's got the weight, it's going to be coming on a good line directly onto the kitty, which you'll see, yes, it has. Excellent bowl from Caleb Hope.
Caleb. Sat down right in front of it too, hides the jack. Wanganui haven't really got that much position behind the head. They do have the backest bowl currently, but not in the most ideal spot for them. So no doubt Shane with his first to be looking to put something a bit more useful in. Looks to be a bit short, is he?
Yes, it's pulling up short, this bowl. Probably 2 metres or more, and just not what his skip required of him. As Caleb steps forward in that very deliberate action and style that he has, as he tries to repeat the dose, coming forward to rest closely beside his own bowl, or just under, no, just outside the blue
just
bowl.
started to break a little bit earlier than his first, but he's still come through and found the lead bowler, Brendan Kenny, and he's given himself potentially a 2 or 3 count there now. Yeah, really good track here from Shane again, but just not quite reaching with the weight. Finishes just over a foot shy. Probably 3rd shot now though, just the 2 to Wellington.
Finbar McGuigan now given the opportunity to try and add to the shot bowl as he comes down and gets a slight nudge on Shane Brodeson's bowl, pushes it forward a bit.
Yeah, and he finishes up in the count, so another good result there from Finbar.
And there you saw a drive coming down from, not too sure, I was distracted momentarily, but the drive has certainly broken the head up.
It's Ray Park on the drive
Ray
there.
Park was on the drive, and he certainly hit one or two of those bowls which could well have changed the situation in favour of the Wanganui team.
It appears the jack's sitting in the ditch. If the orange marker on the bank the orange marker there is the bowl, you can just make out the white marker to the right of the number 5 when we switch back to our head camera. So probably about 2 feet away, perhaps. Wellington holding 1. Brendan Kenny's purple bowls there. Most likely the next 2 shots on the rink. And as we've seen already in the previous games, it's not impossible to draw right up to the edge of this ditch. Ray Park after that outstanding drive. Not too bad of an effort. Another metre.
The Skips will now have their opportunity to get close to the ditch. The kitty is in the ditch, folks. You can see the little white marker just to the right of the number 5 peg. That's where the kitty is sitting. And these bowlers have to try to get it to land just on the edge of the rink to be in a position to count. Difficult shot to judge the exact weight, but these players are experienced and they're quite capable of doing that.
Yeah, definitely. This will be the first, I think, real test for the Skips here. They've got a good chance now just to draw a nice cold shot, just a nice cold shot right on top of the jack. Ben here probably got pretty good weight, to be fair. He's just going to get collected up in those Wanganui bowls, which is an unfortunate result. I don't think he's pushed it far enough to count. But certainly his weight showed a lot of promise.
And Ray Park has given the same direction to his skip. Same hand to be used.
Yeah, Wanganui have the position now, of course. They can afford to turn that Brendan Kenny bowl over probably once or twice more. Give themselves a really good chance, but I'll tell you what, this is
pretty
very
good
close.
bowl here if it stays on the rink.
That's a great shot there from Bruce
Ray
Winterburn.
Park is very happy with that.
Just unfortunate, he's probably just 6 inches off his line there, and that would have turned in and given himself a real chance for shot.
As Ben King tries to repeat the dose of his counterpart Bruce Winterburn.
Looks like he's just going to pull up a little bit, but
Just not gonna, no, he's not going to get the reach that he wanted. Ray Park suggesting we come in your line a little bit and try and bring it closer to the white peg. Keep the same weight.
Looks to be on a bit of a tighter line. Probably going to find itself getting caught up in something here.
So it's a shot to the Wellington team. That drive from Ray Park gave the shot away to the Wellington team, and they will now go out to a 7-2 lead after the 7th end.
Yeah, so approaching the halfway point sort of now. Obviously, well, not quite after the halfway through percent. Wellington, sorry, have the earlier advantage. Robbie Bird there again, playing away from the stadium down the terraced side. He's played this hand pretty well so far this game. And again, you see breaking in at the right time. His weight's not going to quite make the jack, but certainly has a good understanding of how this hand is playing. Brendan Kenny coming up the other hand. Looks to be slightly past the jack. Could pick it up on his way through, but no, just drops under. Certainly noticeably more effort being put in by the players to make sure they're reaching the head now. Green speed undoubtedly dropping, as it naturally does throughout the day on any green anywhere in the country.
It's all about getting the feel for the green, isn't it, Brendan? As the day wears on, the green speed can change, and you've got to be able to adapt to the changes in green conditions and just get the feel for the green again. And some players struggle a bit more than others, and some pick it up quicker than others.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the top players are the ones that can continue to adjust throughout the day and keep on top of those green speed changes and the breeze changes, and even, you know, your technique and fatigue. You know, it makes a huge difference. As you become more tired, your delivery gets a bit sloppy. So it's about keeping that mental strength as well to continue to play good bowls throughout the whole day.
Caleb Hope's first delivery in a reasonable position as Shane Broderson from the Wanganui Club tries to get another one close for his team. Robbie Bird from the Wellington Club, his shot is currently the shot of the moment. All the players are just trying to beat that bowl. That's their task. You don't have to trail the jack, you just have to beat the opposition's bowl.
And it's interesting, you know, Robbie's playing that backhand as we see it on this end very well. Okay, he's not quite executed as strongly as he has the previous ends this time around, but the rest of the Wellington players are insisting upon playing the forehand. They tried to follow him down last time, didn't quite work for them. So, you know, if Robbie's putting his bowls in good position, you know, Wellington can play the other hand and capitalise, but by not getting as close this time as he has previously, it's left Wellington in a bit of a position where the rest of his team have to kind of pick him up a little bit, and they're not really finding that hand perhaps as well as Robbie had a good grasp on that backhand side.
So it's Finbar McGuigan now on the forehand to try and add to the Caleb Hope bowl, which is the shot, the white bowl just off to the right of the kitty. We can't quite see the bowl coming through now, but
It looks as though he's a bit
short
wide. No,
and a little bit
weight
less of weight,
not
so much weight.
That breeze has kind of just dropped again momentarily, and the line's just adjusted accordingly. I think Ray even's going to be a little bit too far out. He's just crossed that boundary peg line. You see just that little bit of weight extra, and it's going to hold out. Ray will recover a bit more because he had that bit more weight, but not finding its way back to the centre as it should. Looks to be a better line this time.
It does definitely look to be a better line from Finbar McGuigan here. It'll depend on his weight, and there's a few people clapping their hands out there. The skips are saying, yes, you've got a good weight this time.
Yeah, that'll definitely be the shot there for Finbar. Better line from Ray too this time. Just needs to find the right break point. He's holding it nicely. Getting applauded in by his skip. This is a great bowl here from Ray Park. And that's number one.
They're experienced players. We've already said about Ray Park having represented Wanganui on many occasions and won many centre titles for both his, well, for the centre, for Wanganui and for his club. And been playing over 40 years and still enjoying this game. So what can Ben King now do? He's actually represented New Zealand on about 12 occasions, I found out recently, so he's a class act. He's going for a drive.
And he's pulled that just a little. Made contact on some of those shorter bowls and no follow through on this occasion. So thins out the head a little bit though.
He certainly sent out a message though, Brendan, that he's prepared to drive an isolated bowl. There wasn't too many close, and he didn't get it on that occasion.
Yeah, certainly quite a big drive, given the position in the head. You know, just a nice controlled runner up the centre line, I think. Potentially gives him more options. You drive once, you drive twice, especially in fours. This time he's done the opposite, he's pushed it wide.
Interesting shot selection there. I agree with you having the second run at drive shot, but it was still drawable.
Yeah,
I felt,
still plenty of room.
He could well have drawn, but he chose to drive on both shots, missed them both.
Yeah, like I say, I think if you wanted to play the aggressor, the drive isn't the best option in that case. You just play good ditch running weight. Give yourself a chance to sit the bowl through. Keep yours in the head when it makes contact. You know, because when you're playing weight like that, there's just too many variables. Even if you played the shot out, you still had too many variables.
So we're going to be picking up two shots there to give them an opportunity now. 7 points to 4 behind. They've crept up on the last couple of ends, and that's good for their confidence. Only 15 ends this game. They're approaching the halfway stage. It's still anyone's game.
Yeah, the forward scores, I think, across the board, looking across from the previous rounds as well, have tended to be a lot closer games, I think. Lower scoring, definitely. And that's a testament to the quality of all the players in the field, really. Even the singles match we streamed before, up to a certain point, was very close in scoring. So we see Brendan Kenny again coming down that city side of the green on his backhand.
Very good first delivery from Brendan Kenny. They won the head. They got two shots on that last end, and the lead did exactly what all leads should do, set the length that he would get the shot at, and his first shot.
This is a pretty good reply from Robbie here too. He's going to run just past, but he's given himself a great positional bowl. And again, you see just sitting right on the back of that ditch. Bit wider this time from Kenny. And a bit heavier too.
Interesting how that happens. One very good shot and the second one not anywhere near the same standard as the first.
Yeah, and I think in this particular situation, Brendan was probably a little bit heavy with his first bowl anyway, trailing the jack through probably a good couple of feet there, so mentally in your head you're thinking, I need more weight than I had previously, and when the jack's up at the 2 metre mark like that, and you've already trailed it 2 feet, when you add 2 feet on, you're flirting with the ditch as he was. So just a bit of a lack of mental concentration there, I think, and forcing himself to play that bit more weight. And, as a result, Wellington are really closing in. Robbie putting in a very good second bowl. Shane been playing some outstanding bowls so far this game. Again, in the head, right where he needs to be.
Right, it's the turn of Caleb Hote now, as Caleb delivers his bowl and he watches it coming down, but it's not going to come near the jack. It's going to pull up short. He wouldn't be pleased with that.
Yeah, certainly a disappointing bowl there from Caleb. It's no good to the team as far short as it is. Shane again looking to improve on his last. Might just be a little bit quick this time. The skip's indicating it could make it all the way to the ditch. No. That's a really nice bowl.
Yeah, very good position there. If the kitty was to move, it can come back to that, and so it's a very good position bowl, that one. Caleb Hope now coming down again, having another chance to get close to the kitty. He certainly put a bit more weight on it, but he also is going to end up close to the previous bowl of Shane Broderson.
Yeah, that's a much better shot there from Caleb, making sure he's past the jack, sort of in the catching area. Don't think we're going to see anything too weighted just yet from either side. The ideal shot still is that little trail of the jack off the backhand.
Ray Park deciding to match that couple of bowls towards the dish just in case the kitty does move. So we've got it covered, and if the kitty does move, we've got an option there that it could get close to their shot, their bowl.
Yeah, anything that is sort of in that area is good. I'd like to see Ray Park change his hand now, to be honest, and see if he can't draw around, split those two blue bowls of Robbie Bird, because if Wellington pick up this jack like they just about did, that's where it's going to go. The chances of splitting out to those three bowls out on the right hand side of the screen, as we see, pretty slim, to be fair. But again, Ray playing down on his backhand, looks to be on line for the jack here, if anything. Get a turn on Shane. Yeah, potentially second shot now.
Yeah, I believe it is second shot, Brendan. Got a nice little plant on there. He would like to have been perhaps another roll, but nevertheless they do have two shots.
Doesn't change anything for Wellington. They're still looking to play that trail on the backhand. Certainly a tighter line this time from Finbar. Showing a lot more intent. He's very close here.
And he has. He's
got very
the
well
trail.
played. And now you see Wanganui in quite a bit of trouble. They're probably one, maybe two down, but had that jack been, 6 inches further back towards the ditch.
It's correct, and even if he'd hit it square, he could well have given his team 3 shots, but at the moment it's 1 and a measure, is looking like from here.
Yeah, Wanganui now in a bit of a sticky situation where they haven't got any position on that side of the green. If you were confident you could continue to play the backhand, there is space to draw around that previous shot bowl of Brendan Kenny's, but the more logical approach would be to try and play that tighter side of the green and just drop one around Robbie's bowl. He's having to think about it. But
I think his main thought is to just get my right line and wait, because the kitty has shifted.
Yeah, weight I think probably more so important on this hand. There is a bit of a gap there if he comes under something and into the head. You see he's going to start to cut away now, and he just hasn't quite got that weight to push through that final last 2 metres.
It's the turn of Ben King now as the skip for the Wellington side to see if he can get right up and get close to the kitty, or even move those bowls forward and get a slide, and as he almost did off the kitty there towards his own team bowls.
Unfortunate result there. I think he might have pushed that bowl of Robbie Bird through and out of the count. His bowl had come through for shot, I would believe. But yeah, I'm not quite sure at this stage who could have second. It looks fairly open. Sort of favour the Wanganui bowl slightly for second shot, I would think.
From this angle here, I believe the Wellington bowl of Ben King would be the shot. It's not by much, it could be a measure, but it appears to be the shot at the moment, as
Big
Bruce
drive here.
Winterbottom is after a drive, trying to take out that isolated bowl of Ben King's, missing it completely.
Difficult shot to drive at, I think. It obviously it could be different on the mat, but from the angles I can see, it looked like it was a pretty slim sight of that maroon coloured bowl. especially playing across the jack how he was. And Ben King, heavy with his second bowl, finds his way back to the ditch, but it will be one to Wellington. Extends their lead further. 8-4, having played 9 ends now.
Robbie Bird's first delivery off his backhand. He's given this plenty of width. Does he have the speed? I think it's going to pull up just short. Yet again, that backhand being quite challenging, Brendan, at times.
Yeah, I think Robbie certainly played it probably the best out of anybody today, though, to be fair. He's not always quite had the weight 100% right, but he's certainly getting a bit more draw than most and quite comfortable on his line. He had that one bad end a couple of ends ago this way, but for the most part he's been pretty consistent on that hand. And Brendan Kenny there dropping short on his forehand. It's given Robbie a good chance now to improve on his own. Apply some pressure. This certainly looks a lot tighter than his previous bowl. It's going to break a bit earlier too. But
I
he's
think you'll
going
find
to
it's
get
going to come
around.
around his bow and be right on the kitty, but just over it. Nice little touch as well.
Yeah, just gets a thin edge of the jack and comes a couple of feet behind. Good shot though. Again, Brendan Kenny just not quite nailing the jack. Fairly good line, but struggling to find his weight on that forehand side.
Caleb Hope coming down with his first delivery on the 10th end. Yet again falling up short.
Yeah, and now Shane Broderson looking to find a gap on the forehand. Either side of that previous Caleb Hope bowl with the correct weight. He's going to give himself a really good chance at shot here. Looks to be coming under it, if not into it. Yeah, I would say he's probably a little bit too heavy considering how far he's moved that bowl. And we see a change of hand now for Caleb Hope, having played a majority of his bowls on the forehand side. Just tucks it around Robbie quite nicely. It'll definitely count. It'll be the shot.
That will indeed be the shot. Shane Broderson must get something close in here, because at the moment it would appear to be at least 3 down, maybe 4.
Yeah, just failing to reach again. Sort of overcorrected, I think, from his last bowl that was a bit too heavy. Collided onto a shorter one and pushed it through. This time he's tried to make a correction and just taken a bit too much off it. And that's been a common trend, I think, on the television rink today. Having talked to both Seamus and Darren after their singles match, they both commented on how those minor adjustments in weight were quite difficult to make. You sort of tell yourself you're going to play the same bowl and hope it stops, and it didn't, and then you tell yourself you're going to take a foot off and you fall a metre short. So certainly been a common trend on this rink today when players are trying to make those finicky weight adjustments.
Radio, back to the action with Ray Park here, trying to get his bowl close, but he's also going to find it difficult on this end to match the Wellington bowls, and so at the moment the Wellington team have a chance now to skip out to a good differential if they can nail these last 2 or 3 bowls.
A really good line there from Rio and his bowl too, you know, and again it just comes down to, as we're talking about, that little difference in weight. Had it started turning a second earlier, it would have been right on the jack. This is a great looking bowl here from Finbar if he can hold it up.
And the Wellington team will be happy with what they're seeing on the rink at the moment. There's plenty of drawing opportunities, but currently the Wanganui team are just unable to get in there and take away those shots that are holding the advantage for the Wellington team. Could it be this bowl? The skipper's trying to will it through to the kiddie.
Ray
He's
looking
on his knees, haunches.
He's looking to follow the line that Finbar took, I think, but I think that could be just the difference in the two models of bowls as well. Finbar playing with XGs tend to start to break just a little bit later in their deceleration, whereas the Aero Optima that Ray Park has played with now for quite a number of years, the Aero bowl stereotypically starts to break just a little bit earlier, and you saw that there. Ray's bowl coming into the head on quite a sharp angle as the weight come off.
This is the time for Ben King as the skip now to really nail a couple of good bowls here and try and get a good multiple.
Yeah, certainly if he can clear that shorter bowl of Robbie's either way and get a touch on that jack, he stands to make 4 or 5 of this head. But he's drawn around a good bowl. He's got
very good bowl there.
He's got an older sort of model bowl, the International. Bit more draw than probably anything else on the rink currently.
Well, it certainly came home almost on a square line, an L line kind of spoke. After it just turned sharply and came directly towards the kiddie. But Bruce Winter burn as the skip. He's trying to cut the numbers down.
And again, you see the Optima again just turning that little bit earlier, and you see the result as it finishes up narrow, just requiring the Optima users to take that little bit more green at the moment. The bowls are cutting away just a little bit quick on them.
This looks a much better bowl here, Brendan, as it's coming home. It's dependent on its weight now, but no, as you said earlier, it's cutting across some of these bowls, and he fell on that trap as well.
So, potentially 4 shots here, I think. Wellington hold. And Ray sort of offering a couple of suggestions, predominant one being to have a bit of a run. Come through, ideally take the kiddie. Miss the kiddie, gives yourself a chance for a bowl. And it looks like he's pushed it.
Starting to turn now, but it's not going to take the kiddie unless it gets a rub.
Oh, what a result.
What a result. What a result for the Wanganui team.
That's the sort of one you just put your hand in your head, you say sorry, and you chalk it up on the board.
Yeah, they got that slide, which allowed the Wanganui team to get that shot to 8 points to 5. Wellington ahead, 10 ends have gone. Just the 5 ends to go.
And Wanganui and the peers leading the Wellington side 21-11. So they're doing a pretty good job of making sure Wellington don't get through on an easy beat. Seamus Curtin leads Gavin Scrivener in the singles Oh, sorry, I'm reading the wrong scoreboard. Gavin's leading Seamus 21-11 in the singles, and the peers Wellington are leading 13-6, having played 12. So Gavin Scrivener there giving Seamus a good run for his money, making the Wellington side have to fight for these points. And of course, Wanganui in the fours in our feature match, well within contention. One big end here in a fours game can make all the difference. And we've already seen when the rub goes their way, the scoreboard's not been updated on screen. You know, they're only trailing by 3.
The scoreboard indicates it is 8 points to 6. They must have scored 2 points on that last one, perhaps, because it's 8-6. The scoreboard on the bank indicates that.
Yeah, it must have been another bowl behind that Ray Park bowl on screen that we didn't quite catch on the camera.
The on-screen scoreboard is incorrect, folks. It is 8 points to 6 to the Wellington team.
Yeah, a pretty loose start from both sides thus far. Brendan Kenny, well-weighted bowls, but just coming under the head. Caleb here looking to sort of match those two. He's going to finish just under as well, but it should hang on for shot. Yeah, it does. Shane Broden now been helping Wanganui build some pretty strong heads in the first 10 ends of this game. As we start the final third, he's had an end he'd probably rather forget. He's got 2 good back bowls though.
Yeah, the back bowls only become important if we have opposition bowls that are close to the kitty and the skip can try and trail the jack back to them. But at the moment, it's the Wellington team have the shot and the Wanganui team have second shot. So those back bowls should have been closer if they could have been.
Yeah, you're quite right, Kevin. So far, no one's really troubling the jack at the moment. They've got plenty of parking space for a good bowl.
Ray Park is watching his delivery pretty closely.
It's the first time we've seen someone switch over to that tighter side of the green in quite a while. He's got the line pretty well sussed, just running through a little bit on this occasion.
These greens are pretty slick, and the players have at times, struggled to adjust to them on each end. They have occasionally, and from time to time, got it right, but consistently, not always, as the ends have changed. And we're late in the day now, and 1 or 2 players, good ball coming through now here, but they're constantly having to adjust to the weight and speed.
Yeah, good shot there from Finbar. And you want to make a ballsy call on commentary now that he's let it go and say that this one's probably going to be overcorrected and short, because it's been a common trend for most players throughout the day. They overcorrect that weight. You see Ray there falling well short of the jack.
That's a good point. They sometimes do overcorrect, and as you saw there, what this first bowl was deep, and the second bowl was short, so it took off far too much weight, and those 2 bowls are not on the count at all.
And real opportunity for Finbar here just to replicate his first. He's got plenty of space to draw around those 2 shorter bowls. But running through them as occasions, so plenty of bowls further back behind the head. Yeah, 2 shots to Wellington so far, but again, plenty of room to draw something close.
Rightio, what can the skip for the Wanganui team, Bruce Winterburn, do now? There's 2 points, 2 shots down on the head. They're 8 points to 6 down in the game.
Looks to be an attacking sort of bowl, just drawing with intention to trail.
He's put a little bit extra weight on it to ensure he gets up to the kitty, and he has done just that. May not be the shot, but it was a good attempt.
Yeah, he almost accidentally drew the shot, I think, there. It's sort of just come through to third on the other side, so he's got options now on both sides of the rink should the jack move.
So Ben King begins his delivery. He'll be trying to get one close.
Looks to be coming in at the right sort of time. This is going to certainly be in the area. Potentially 3 shots right now. Wellington lie. Wanganui just wanting to draw one very close, I would think. There is a chance to drive the jack, and Ray sort of looked at it and said, yeah, if you want to do it, do it. But a key end in the game here. No, he's got that terribly wrong. He's taken his own bowl out.
Currently there are 3 bowls there with the Wellington team, just trying to get that, increased buffer as we, get down to the business end of the last 2 or 3 ends of this game. If they can get a nice shot in here now, they'll get 4 shots, and that will help their cause immensely.
Looks to be a bit heavier this time. He's just let this one slip through, so it'll still be 3 to Wellington, definitely. Perhaps Bruce Winterburn just not quite taking the time to line up his drive and really think about what he was playing.
There's only 4 ends to go though. We've had 11 ends, and as you can see on the scoreboard, it's 11 points to 6 to the Wellington team.
And
these next 4 ends are very crucial. Often the winning of the game comes down to the last end, and sometimes even the last bowl. Each player will be really focused now and trying to do their best for their team to enhance the opportunities to win this game. They've thrown up a short end this time for the Wellington team.
Yeah, definitely. And assuming that Taranaki win all 3 of their games, Wellington do need to have at least 2. They are currently trailing in the singles. The pairs is quite close. 4 ends is still plenty of time for Wanganui to put together a couple of good ends here in this 4s match.
What a good first bowl there by Robbie Bird. That Robbie Bird, threw a short end earlier, and he's thrown another one now and put his first bowl right by the kitty. Very important you do that when you're leading, when you set the length and put the pressure on the opposition. He's done it well this time.
Yeah, definitely. You're starting to see now the shade on the right hand side of the picture as we look at it here. The sun's starting to come around to the edge of the stadium. That shadow is going to come across the green very quickly in the next couple of ends, and definitely going to cause some issues for the players visibility wise. The green gets very dark trying to determine which bowl is which, and also when you're looking into the sun, it's sitting quite low, sort of early autumn. Makes it very difficult to actually see up the other end.
2 good bowls from Robbie Bird as the lead for the Wellington team has put the pressure right back on the Wanganui side. They've shortened the end right up, testing the ability of each player within the team to be able to draw to a short end, and as you can see there, Brendan Kenny is right on the kitty.
Yeah, great bowl there for the second from Brendan Kenny. He sort of made that correction on his first, and not only that, he's taken 2 shots away from Robbie, who's played some incredible bowls on this backhand coming in this direction. So nice to get the advantage over him as we see Caleb Hope now just looking to move the jack through, but building up the catches in behind nonetheless.
It's important at this stage of the game that the players keep their concentration, their focus. They can't afford to have any, poor bowls at this time of the game. Only 4 ends to go, and it's a good bowl coming in here by Shane Broderson.
Yeah, another great bowl.
Putting real pressure back on the Wellington team now, as they now have two shots close to the kitty.
And as this game progresses, those Wellington guys, they'll know the situation. They'll know that Seamus is currently trailing in his singles game, and you know, they need to just get that one. So they've got to keep the pressure on now. They've got a 5-shot lead. They can't afford to let something slip. They've got to come through and win this game if they want to give themselves any chance of, or sorry, the best possible chance of securing the overall victory today. You'd expect Kevin this bowl probably trying to match their backest bowl, Brendan Kenny's back bowl.
He's going to land it right on the jack, or he's going to land it pretty close to.
Yeah, he gets
But
a
he
touch.
may well have given the shot away to the Wellington bowl.
I don't know if he's sold out, but he certainly has reduced Wanganui's opportunity to score a number here.
Pretty unfortunate, that bowl, but that's what it's like in bowls. You trail the jack or you move a bowl and you can suddenly find yourself not in a favourable position anymore.
Finbar just not getting it right on this occasion. He's dropped a couple of feet short. Turns under the head. Ray Park now had a pretty good game so far, Ray. He's played some very key bowls, keeping Wanganui in contention. Looks to be getting onto Shane's bowl. Yeah, he's turned it up. That's 2 shots indicated by the skip.
Very good controlled bowl by Ray Park there, showing all of his experience under pressure.
Give me my bowl, he says.
What are the options now for the Wellington skip to his team?
Yeah, I think quite rightly Ben there saying to Finbar, get on your forehand, a bit of a rake, play a bit of weight, see what you can sit through. That both those blue bowls will go cleanly if he gets it right. He's got one out clean. His bowl's followed through to another position or to another place of position. Shane's bowl staying on the green though, so it is right there at the back, down by the 2 metre mark. Bit more of drawing intentions this time, I think, from Ray. Just look to try and get down onto that light blue bowl of Robbie Bird. Just going to come under, sit Brendan Kenny's shot. Yeah, good bowl there from Ray. That's potentially 2 again. So you think Ben now would play a similar shot to what he had Finbar on, given that the head looks fairly similar.
Yeah, Ben King, I think, might be looking at just having a little run there and trying splitting those 3 bowls out the front.
I mean, he could even be inclined to play big weight. The 3 front bowls all belong to Wanganui, and if he cleans out the head, he's got more chances of a Wellington bowl staying there. But of course, it does then open up the space for Bruce to draw another shot. So interestingly, he's opted to just draw a shot down on the backhand. Not too far away. He's going to catch the front of Ray Park's bowl, turn it over.
There could be 2 shots to the Wanganui team there, possibly 3.
Hard to say where that jack's gone exactly, with Robbie Bird's bowl being in the back there. No doubt Bruce will be trying to look to sit that bowl of Robbie's through. Coming pretty well.
Well, look at the head there, Brendan. You've got to look
might
closely.
actually have 2 shots here.
Yeah, there could well be.
I thought the jack was closer to Ray Park's bowl, to be honest. Put it this way, if Wellington draw a shot, they're holding 2.
Well, I don't think you'll see anything silly here. He's indicating a draw onto that bowl. Maybe just turn it over a roll, perhaps. They don't want to go down big counts at this stage of the game, either team. Playing safe.
Yeah. I mean, the shot doesn't really change. There's no aggressor option for Wanganui at this point. They just need to sort of sit that blue bowl through once, or just draw it off it. just pushing his bowl out wide this time. That looked like Ray Park indicated 1 to Wanganui.
Yes, indeed. So it's 11 points to 7 to the Wellington team. Very crucial game, this men's fours, in the context of the Intercentre regional playoff winners. Wellington and Taranaki are the two leading contenders to win today's event, and this is a very important one of those games. So we have just 3 ends to go. As you can see on the scoreboard, it is Wellington 11, Wanganui 7, 3 ends to go in this crucial men's fours event.
Yeah, to give you a bit of an update on Taranaki's situation, Darren Gooden's won the singles 25 to 7. The fours are leading 17-5 after 11 played. The pairs trailing slightly, 14-9. So Dean Olger and Hamish Cuppy, the Taranaki pair, will be looking to score, what do they need? 5 shots and 2 ends. Starting the 14th end now, that's going to be a pretty big result for them to get that back. They definitely need it, given that Wellington are well on track here in both the fours and the pairs, unless Wanganui can cause an upset in these final stages. Brendan Kenny giving it his best effort there, drawing the shot.
Robbie Bird coming down on his backhand now to try and wrest the advantage away from the Wanganui team. He's on a good line and a good weight. He's just going to sneak in behind.
Yeah, 2 very good bowls again there from Robbie.
2 very good bowls just in behind the kitty.
Giving Wellington the best possible chance. Doesn't have the shot, but 2 very good positional bowls. Yeah, what can Shane Brodesson do with his first? Looks to be on a good line. Start to break down onto Robbie's bowls. Just running through. Big end for Wanganui, this one, I think, in the context of the game. Ideally, probably wanting to score at least 2, I would say, just to close that gap up going into the final 2 ends. Caleb just getting caught out on that tighter side. Comes back to the centre line, but runs through.
I would suggest that the Wellington team have 2 shots.
You think?
I think it's close, but it could be a measure, but it looks like it could well be.
It's one of those hits. It could be 2 to Wellington. It could be 1 to Wanganui. You just hard to tell from our position. Shane's going to be in the head here. Just slips under. Sort of finished into a bit of a nothing position. But no doubt expect to see, if Wellington are holding shots, Wanganui begin to attack now that Ray Park steps up to the mat. Caleb, much better bowl
Good
here
bowl
with this
coming
one.
in here from Caleb Hope.
Yeah, well, that's definitely 3 now to Wellington.
It's going to drop too, I think, pretty soon. It's going to drop. Definitely 3 shots now to the Wellington side. That could be just the buffer they need.
Not quite a drive. The way the bowl's positioned, it's still quite inviting just to play that running shot through as Ray is trying to do. Just missing his green with this attempt. He'll have another one to correct.
So Ben King has given instructions to his number 3 Finbar McGuigan as to what shot he wants him to play.
Yeah, pretty
He's
much.
coming on the forehand and he's looking to just get right in amongst the group of bowls that he already has, and he's done just that.
Yeah,
Very good bowl.
That was definitely the call from Ben, just pile them on. And again, it's finished in such a way that the drive isn't actually the right option to play here. It's just that finishing shot sitting into the head. Not too dissimilar to the one we just saw Finbar play. Better line this time from Ray. It'd be unlucky though, he's going to cut away again. A bit less weight than his first bowl as well.
So Wellington will just try to keep adding to this head. It's a very close head. All the bowls are closely tucked in around the kitty.
Could be just 2 shots now, I think, the way that Finbar pushed those bowls through, but either way, 2 shots at this stage of the game for Wellington are going to be pretty key, extending that lead out. Only a couple of ends left to play. So the skips make their way up to the mat. Shane the first to play. No doubt we'll see something similar to the shot that Ray was attempting. Certainly on a wider line than what Ray was playing. Looks to be in the area here. That should be second shot, I would think.
What a good bowl. He was coming directly at the kitty, but he managed to get a slide off that ball that was just in front of the kitty. But nevertheless, a very good ending position for the bowl of Bruce Winterbottom.
Yeah, just the one now.
Winterburn, sorry.
What he has done too is created himself a unique opportunity here. He can play a similar shot to his first, Bruce. If he makes contact on that jack, he can bounce it off that white bowl of Caleb and spit it across. They've got 3 bowls out to the left there to Wanganui. They could score the 3 shots they need to catch up here. Yep, straight away Ray's caught on to that.
He's given directions to his skip to come into the head with a little bit of weight and try and split that kitty out.
And the thing is that the kind of weight you're playing here, it's not going to do any danger should he hit the pack.
He's trying to move the kitty here, folks.
What,
if he can get into the
that
pack.
bowl down, that's a great effort. Very well controlled weight. Perfect for the shot. Wellington will hold one. They'll be quite happy with that. There is room to draw though. No doubt Ben will give it a go. Perhaps just a little bit under the line.
I don't think he's taking too many risks, Brendan. Just he knows he has the shot.
Yeah, no, quite right. Didn't need the shot, but there was a bit of an opportunity there for a gentle draw. So 12-7 to the Wellington side after 13 ends, 2 remain. Taranaki in the pairs dropping another number, trailing now 16-9, last end to play. So you'd think that should Wellington win at least 1 point here, they will secure victory for the tournament today. Sitting fairly comfortable both in the 4s and pairs right now. Wellington pair leading 15-9. 3 ends remaining in that game.
So Wellington lead, Robbie Bird choosing yet again to throw up a reasonably shorter to 3/4 length. He's put the mat right up a bit, so yet again probably playing to his favourite length. And his first 2 bowls will be crucial to apply pressure on the Wanganui side. They are 5 points down on the scoreboard, and if they're going to win this game, they have 2 ends to do it. It's got to be on this end to get some points on the board and, you know, narrow that gap.
Yeah, you caught a little hand gesture there from Robbie suggesting he was a little bit heavy, but ultimately finishing up in a pretty good position. Not as far through as I think as he thought he was going to be. Interestingly, Brendan Kenny's changed his hand coming this way. Opting to try and follow Robbie down that tighter side, but certainly probably drawing the shot though, to be fair. But
he's certainly drawing the shot. It's a reasonable starter for the Wanganui lead, Brendan Kenny.
Good green again from Robbie Bird. His bowl likes to draw back off that side of the green. Again, just a bit heavy for the jack, but 2 good positional bowls gives us 2 an opportunity to draw a couple of nice close shots without too much pressure. Brendan Kenny looks to have corrected his green on this occasion. His weight's not too bad either. Breaking into the head now. Definitely be 2 shots currently in favour of the Wanganui side, but plenty of room for the remainder of the players from both sides to get one in there.
So it's Caleb Hope's time now to try and get one in close, because currently the Wanganui players have 2 shots they are holding, and he hasn't done it on that bowl.
Yeah, 2 still the indication from Bruce Winterburn, the Wanganui skip.
Shane Broderson study and concentration as he lines up his delivery. He's let it go now, and it's coming back.
Taking a very good line here for his bowl.
He's a little bit too much weight on that one.
That's come to a really good home though. You look at that triangle of bowls that are being created by the Wellington side back there. He's put his bowl right in the middle of that, so, you know, should Wellington have decided later on perhaps to play a bit of a trailing shot, Shane's bowl's got that fairly well covered.
Caleb Hope has changed his hand to his forehand, trying to get underneath that Wanganui bowl of Brendan Kenny's, but unfortunately unable to do so.
He sat it out though. He's given himself a good chance. That could be the shot though. Again, really good line here from Shane Broderson. Looks to be just running through a little bit again. Match that white bowl. Not a bad result. Come to a good home.
What can Finbar McGuigan do here? The Wellington number 3.
Yeah, rests in on his own teammates' bowl. It'll definitely be one to Wellington now, I would think.
Wellington just have to play reasonably conservative now. They're not at risk of, losing too many shots. As long as they can keep Wanganui from scoring too many, they'll run out winners. In a 15-end game, there's only 2 ends to play. So they'll be playing fairly conservative and not taking too many risks.
It appears that Taranaki Piers have killed the final end, so they'll give that a replay. Again though, the diff may come into account, but in order for diff to count, it's going to need to be Wanganui to step up here and win this fours game we're featuring. Certainly looking like Wellington are in the driver's seat to take out this event today.
Ray Park coming down on the backhand now, which looks like a pretty competitive bowl if it's going to slow down enough to just rest on one in, one out. That will be the shot though. So Ray Park has given his team a chance. Holding one, possibly measure for the second. There's not too much discussion going on between the skips and the threes or the teams. They know all they've got to do is get in close, shut the other team, in this case Wanganui, from getting more than one. And for the Wellington team, just playing conservatively and trying to keep the score from getting any more than one against them.
Yeah, you're quite right. There's not much need really for the players to discuss tactics too much at this stage in the game. No doubt the Wellington manager has been watching the results from Taranaki, and there would have been a word slipped to the players at some stage over the last 3 or 4 ends that, they just need to get one, and plan A is very much in progress as Ben Kingley gets a little feather off one of his own teammates' bowls and draws the shot. Bit of chalk on there for good measure.
That's really put the pressure back on the Wanganui side now, especially the skipper after that excellent bowl from Ben King to wrest the advantage away from the Wanganui team, although indicate from Ray Park maybe that's not the shot. Maybe Wanganui does indeed have it.
Yeah, Ray's bowl back there, it did move towards it a little bit, but it looked like in real time that Ben's bowl stayed with it a bit closer than it perhaps first appeared.
Ray Park taking plenty of time over deciding what shot to suggest to a skip.
Rather interestingly, Wanganui have got good position just behind the jack, but if you look at a scatter, for argument's sake, should Ben play a bit of weight and sort of look to disturb the head, Wellington are quite spread out where their bowls are, and they stand a lot of opportunities to sort of play something a little bit crafty. Now that's interesting. It's turned back in towards the jack off that shorter bowl. Yeah, one down.
It's indicating one down, so the Wellington team one down. This is the penultimate end. There's only 15 ends in this game.
One down to that Ray Park bowl. If you're Wellington, do you sort of think about just being one down? You're still only defending 4 shots in the final end. I don't think we've had a 4 this game.
I agree, Brendan. I think that's what they'll be discussing, is that do we let them have the one, or do we just try to come in and rest that off them, and perhaps even run the risk of going down 2 or 3 even if you just don't get it quite right.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's still fairly safe. Just play a draw shot up the forehand. You've got a couple of Wanganui bowls to sit on there, and if he does touch the jack, trails it clean. He's got Caleb Hope's white bowl there. If he does get a bit dirty, as you say, he could risk going 2 or 3 down, but I think in the greater context of the game, they've got that buffer there. They can afford to use it.
I agree. There is a 5-point buffer, and there's no need to take too many risks. I think he'll play relatively safely. Yeah. Even though they're one down.
Opting on the backhand. I envision this bowl having quite a bit of width. I'll tell you what, he's actually played this he's too narrow. He's going to cut. So a bit of a nothing shot in the end. And again, that opportunity for Wanganui to perhaps try and cut the jack for 3, but difficult shot to play on purpose.
So it's the Wanganui skip, Bruce Winterburn. He's coming through with a little bit of weight.
I tell you what, he's played it, but he's played it a bit too well.
And he sliced the jack over to the Wellington team bowl.
Yeah, Robbie Bird's back
They would
bowl
have that
there.
one shot from that delivery. So the Wellington team will go out to a 13 points to 7 lead, and we have one end to play.
So 6 shots the difference going into the final end.
There are 8 bowls per team. Can they get 6 to create a draw? Representative bowls will be pretty hard to get 6, I'd imagine, Brendan.
Yeah, I mean, well, within the context of the game, I don't think we've had any more than what, 2 or 3 shots. I don't think there's been a 3, has there? So, you know, to try and score a number like that is certainly a big ask. Not impossible, it's definitely been done before. Again, the Taranaki pair, one down on the head. They're sort of just playing for differential, but at this stage Wellington have got this one in the bag, so it's not going to matter ultimately. Taranaki 4 definitely leading comfortably 21-7, playing the last end now over Kapiti. The pairs are really tightening up in the Wellington Wanganui fixture. Wellington's still holding on to that one though. 18-11, playing the last end now, so actually that's impossible for them to catch up. So Wellington have definitely won that game. Gavin Scrivener's just completed the singles game, finding that final shot, defeating Seamus Curtin 24-16. And of course here on the feature match we see 2 very good first lead bowls from both leads. Robbie Bird with his second opting to play behind the head. So you would think unofficially Wellington having locked out Wanganui from defeating them in the pairs would be victorious overall for the day. Of course I do say unofficially. All the scores need to go back in and be ratified and whatnot before the official announcement is made.
And those scores will be done by Ian Spud Andrews, the president of the Bowls Taranaki, and also Grant Hassel, the chairman of Bowls Taranaki, both who have the tournament controlling role this afternoon or today, if there should there be any reason to look at how the results have been and go through their rules to decide who the ultimate winner would be. But as Brendan has pointed out, it's looking like it could be Wellington to win this Intercentre regional playoff.
And I'm fairly confident Wellington and the women just needed to win one game as well, so we haven't had our runner this afternoon to be able to go over and look at the women's results, but you think Wellington would have had a fairly successful campaign up here in Taranaki today. Look across to the car park and see the
Caleb Hope throwing down his second bowl in the final end of this men's fours event this afternoon. Our feature game on...
I tell you what, he split that gap beautifully.
He certainly did. He's gained the shot back.
Takes the toucher, sits on there.
He's getting a shake of the hand from his fellow Wellington players.
Just reconfirms the position, and it looks like Shane here is going to have a drive. Tell you what, he played that with very good speed.
Close but no cigars, I'm afraid, Shane Broderson.
Came out of the hand, it looked pretty promising, but just didn't quite behave as it perhaps normally would. Stayed very straight. And
Finbar McGuigan now bowling his first bowl of the last end for his team.
yeah, Wanganui now having showed their hand. Finbar would just be looking to get something in the head, won't be too worried about where it finishes exactly.
Might even be keen to just get a nuisance bowl there. Nothing wrong with that, perhaps, as a nuisance bowl. Should we have a drive coming through?
So we'll definitely see Ray Park on the drive. It looks to be playing on the forehand too, which is interesting, given the position of the head. You'd think, given where that shorter white bowl of Caleb Hope is, you'd be driving on the backhand, but each to their own, I suppose.
Pretty much all the Whangarei team can do is to try and kill it, or, so they get another chance with another end. 6 is going to be very difficult to score, but it's probably their only chance. It's going to be very difficult to draw and get the points they need.
Yeah, and truth be told, even if they do drive the shot, the chances of actually killing it are pretty slim. They're looking to play onto the Brendan Kenny bowl, their own team's bowl. Again, we see Ray Park pull that one. Getting onto the Brendan Kenny bowl doesn't guarantee you're going to get onto Caleb's shot bowl and kill it. There's still a bit of a gap there. So, yeah, just because you hit the drive doesn't mean you're going to get the result you want.
Rightio, so we're in the final end of the men's fours in our match this afternoon. Live stream coming out of the Paritutu Bowling Club. Wanganui versus Wellington. Wellington comfortably ahead 13 points to 7. There's 4 more bowls to come. And at this stage it's looking though it will be a Wellington victory. But let's see what happens for the next 4 bowls.
Yeah, hand's been shaken over on the far rink there with the peers. That game's all over. Wellington the victors in that one. That puts them on 6 game wins overall for the day. The best Taranaki can possibly get is 5, although in saying that, the end's been killed again. And they are playing the final end in the men's pairs between Taranaki and Kapiti for, I think, the 4th time. Hamish Cuppy, of course, the skip for Taranaki. Big drive
Bruce
on
Winterburn
him.
had a drive there, and there was some short bowls that got on the way, and no result from that drive, and that's what the Wellington team did deliberately to try and get a couple of nuisance bowls in the middle there to prevent.
I tell you what, that's a pretty good block. A block is one of the hardest shots to play, and Ben King has done a pretty good job of that.
As you said, Brendan, the game is over. They're shaking their hands. So
I'm still
the
very
men's,
intrigued they've played the forehand side there.
the men's fours this afternoon played between Wanganui and Wellington has turned out a victory for the Wellington team. 14 points to 7 after the 15 ends. Brendan, your summation of that game for the viewers?
Yeah, I think it was definitely one off the front. Playing away from the stadium, Robbie Bird there, no doubt MVP in my opinion. Didn't always nail the jack weight-wise, but he had a good understanding of how that line was behaving, and he really set the Wellington side up well for success today.
Well, that's it, folks, for this live stream coverage that we've put on for you today at the Paritutu Bowling Club here in New Plymouth. We've had 3 games we've covered for you this morning with the women's pairs between Wanganui and Kapiti. We've had the men's singles between Taranaki and Wellington, and we've just finished the men's fours between Wanganui and Wellington. So we can sign off now, and hopefully we'll be back again sometime to deliver another full day of bowls coverage. Thank you for the opportunity to join them for the commentary, Brendan. Thank you, Tamara, for setting things up. Catch you later.
Yeah, thanks for Tamara for coming down from Auckland and letting us live stream here today, testing out the new media centre here at Paritutu. Congratulations unofficially to Wellington. There's winners of the men's tournament here, and those results will be ratified very shortly, and all results and scores will be posted up on the spreadsheet on the Bowls New Zealand website.